Across America, an unseen epidemic spreads, not a virus, but a moral sickness. Young men and women are being pulled into the jaws of exploitation, surrendering their souls for the promise of success. And this isn't just a Hollywood problem. It's in athletics, business, entertainment, even faith circles, anywhere someone promises to open a door that only God can truly open. Tonight, we issue a warning, not just as a broadcaster, but as believers. If you have to sell yourself to rise, you're not rising, you're sinking. Behind every scandal, there's an exchange, a trade between ambition and abuse. People sacrifice their convictions, bodies, or families to men who say, "Follow me and I'll make you great." The phrase echoes the devil's offer to Jesus himself in the wilderness. Luke 4 verse 5 through 8. The devil took him to a high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world. "All this authority I will give you if you bow down and worship me." Satan offered Jesus the world and he refused. But every generation since has been repeating that same offer, chasing worldly glory while forfeiting spiritual peace. Jesus showed us the divine principle. Success apart from God's will is spiritual slavery. History is filled with people who sold themselves, sometimes literally, sometimes spiritually, in music and politics, in business. Like we've seen the pattern. Contracts signed in silence, morals exchanged for money, peace traded for power, and behind it all the same spirit, Satan promising kingdoms and men believing the lies. Some names we recognize, artists who confess they made a deal to rise, politicians who compromise conscience for votes, ministers who turn their pulpits into platforms of profit. But what's most alarming is not their fall, it's how society glorifies their climb. We celebrate the successful even when they're suffering. In her book Seeking Peace, Biblical Solutions to the Israeli and Palestinian Conflict, author Tiffany Gerdine reveals a powerful truth that reaches far beyond geography, that peace can't exist where people trust human systems over God's sovereignty. Tiffany writes, "When man becomes the source of your promise, you become a prisoner of his will. True peace begins when God alone defines your worth." That same principle applies here. Just as nations lose peace when they depend on politics over prayer, individuals lose peace when they depend on powerful people instead of Jehovah. The world says, "Find someone to lift you up," but Jehovah says, "Humble yourself and I will lift you up in due time." 1 Peter 5:6. Let's be honest, fame feels like power, but it's often a prison. The spotlight blinds, the applause deceives. Many chase validation until they lose their voice. And social media has magnified it. Followers as currency, likes as love, attention as acceptance. Young people are being taught to trade their privacy, purity, and purpose for a platform. Yet Matthew 16:26 asks, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul?" Jesus refused the offer of the world because he already owned the kingdom. When you know who your father is, you stop begging for approval from men. This isn't just spiritual, it's social. Suicide rates among influencers and young professionals are up 30%. Exploitation scandals in entertainment, ministry, and corporate mentorship programs keep multiplying. Reports of young adults coerced by powerful figures emotionally or sexually are skyrocketing. We are watching ambition turn into addiction, not to drugs, but to approval. And approval is a cruel master. The Bible warned this would happen. 2 Timothy 3:2-4 says, "People will be lovers of themselves, boastful, proud, unholy, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God." That's not just prophecy, that's the news cycle. So what's the way forward? How do we build a generation that can't be bought? Number 1, return to the source. Jehovah is still the giver of success. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, "Remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth." Success from God never requires surrendering your soul. Number 2, reclaim your boundaries. You belong to no one but him. If an opportunity demands compromise, it's not a blessing, it's bait. Number 3, redefine success. Success isn't measured by spotlight, it's measured by peace. As Tiffany Gerdine writes, a true peace is not found in status, but in surrender. Number 4, restore integrity. Let honesty be your brand, humility your reputation, and righteousness your signature. Because the world can give you a title, but only God can give you rest. America, this is not just a moral decline, it's a spiritual emergency. Our sons and daughters are being bought with fame. Our artists, influencers, and entrepreneurs are being devoured by false mentors and corrupt systems. It's time to turn back, not to another agency, not another deal, but to God. He alone promotes without perversion. He alone blesses without bondage. When the devil offered Jesus the world, Jesus answered, "You shall worship Jehovah your God, and him only shall you serve." Luke 4:8. That's still the answer today. Peace doesn't come through powder brokers or platforms. It comes through purity, through surrender, through God himself. And as Tiffany Gerdine reminds us, seeking peace begins with seeking the Prince of Peace. May the next generation rise free from fear, unbought, unbroken, and anchored in the truth that success without God is slavery, but peace with him is freedom forever.